do remember in the Four Seasons in particular, it seemed to be very cold upstairs, and the woman who owned the pub was a little bit less than generous on the heating. So I honestly remember like 5 or 6 of us maybe in some winter's night huddled around a super Sarah and think like, who's going to turn up, you know. Now, somebody always turned up, but often there would be maybe only about 10 or 12 of us, you know.
Yeah. So was the Four Seasons, was that after the Thomas House?
Yeah, we moved to the Four Seasons after Thomas House, yeah. I think there was a small bit of problem with bar staff in Thomas House, you know. They weren't kind of sympathetic to the cause, you know. There was a change. There was, at the beginning it was great, but then there was a change of bar staff, and it wasn't that satisfactory, you know. So I think when no matter what venue we were in, I think it tended to work much better if the owners had some kind of empathy with what we were about, and preferably some interest in the music and song, you know. And where that didn't exist, the club didn't tend to work, you know, if the people were just interested in making money. Yeah. And I could think of one establishment where definitely the owner felt we weren't, you know, buying enough alcohol, yeah, and, you know, was just interested in profit, you know.
Say where it was.
Pardon?
Say where it was.
Oh no, I wouldn't be discreet because they have a musical connection, and it's not the Cobblestone. I can add, yeah. I might add, because you know, it's a great place for music and song, and Tom Mulligan has a great interest in the music and song. As you know, you meet there, yeah. But the places that stand out, I suppose, yeah, we moved from Thomas House to the Four Seasons, and the actual chronological timeline, you know, of pubs, it's not a blur to me, but after the Four Seasons, the place I remember most was Corbett's, yeah, but it probably was the pub I went into least because it was the time when Donal and Thurn were small. Okay. But there were a number of venues, including Bowes in Fleet Street. That was a bit of a disaster. You know, we were in between, kind of. But the Trinity Inn, I was kind of I had made my way back to the singing, and I have very great memories of the Trinity Inn. Then we moved to Tommy May's pub, which was a great venue as well, until they moved in the pool table to the middle of the floor. That wasn't very good for the feng shui or energy in the room. And then we moved on to the Teachers Club, and the management there are great, you know. Tag McFaudine has a great interest in what we're doing, and the room there at the back of the bar and the bar staff are very accommodating, you know, and helpful. So that's, I think, where we'll be staying for the moment, you know. And then, of course, the Frank Hart Festival takes place there, so it's fantastic that we have a fine building in the centre of town, and we don't have to move away from it. Yeah. It would have happened to some degree in the Four Seasons because you had a music session downstairs. But there was very much a divide between the singing session upstairs and the music downstairs. But people who were up from the country who would drop in to the Four Seasons to hear music, because that session was quite famous, who had any interest in singing might then hear about the singing session upstairs and drop up spontaneously. But like off the street, I don't think not that much of that happened.